Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast on Prince, podcastjuice.net. My name is Michael Dean. We hitting y'all with some content. This is like what the third show I've done in the last couple of days. This is what we're trying to get back on this time. And today we got a special one. Let me just bring in everybody here right now. Bye. All right. So we got this. Let me introduce everyone. So we have Big Sexy and Sack. Of course, you know who that is. Big Sexy, sir. How are you?
You know, I am doing well. Got some bad news about one of my amplifiers. A moment of silence. Okay, let's move on.
Okay, there you go. And joining us today are these two brothers down below. First off, we have my man, Bobby. Sir, how are you?
I'm awesome. Thanks. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. And then, of course, his partner in crime, Jay. Sir, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
And if y'all may see, you see it says royalty at the park down below. You see over there, we got the icon with, you see legends in the picture there, Michael Jackson, Prince. So this is about Royalty at the Park, which is a short film that Bobby and Jay are looking to make and produce. And they currently have a Kickstarter campaign going for it. And so, man, I had heard about this, I think a little while ago. And then I saw Casey Rain, shout out to Casey. He had posted about it as well and saw that. And then me and Bobby was able to connect up. And I'm like, yeah, man, come on and explain this. Because I got something else I wanted to ask y'all about something. And I will do that in a second. But gentlemen, whoever would like to start, Bobby or Jay, can you tell us what this project is? What's it about?
Got you. So Royalty at the Park is, based on an actual real historic event of when, Prince invited Michael, to come meet with him privately after Michael's concert in the Bad Tour in Minneapolis. And I really wanted to pinpoint this specific, time in history because, of course, we all know the famous stories before, and some after, the James Brown concert, and various running into each other and different things like that. The ping pong game. So this is like a long history of them kind of interacting with each other at different points in their careers and their lives. But this one, I feel from all that I've heard and understand of this event from various, insights from, different people in the Prince camp and Michael camp, as well as that this is probably like the first time that they actually got a chance to really talk and understand each other outside of, being around, managements and the entourages and everybody like watching and trying to figure out what they're going to say, what they're going to do. It just took the stress out of the situation. And I just really feel like coming from a young Black male perspective, they're both coming up in this industry and, snubbed from the Grammys only a couple of months earlier, and hip hop and rap is about to take over that year. So it was just a lot about their lives that kind of converged at that particular point in time that I thought was so interesting. And I'm like, yeah, this deserves to be a story.
And just so I'm clear, what's the time period that this would take place in again?
This is in May 1988. Specifically May 6th. I'm leaning towards May 6th that particular day.
Okay, so this would be like for Prince, this is the sort of Love Sexy era, and Mike is on his bad stuff, I believe, at this time. Now, just to be clear, because a lot of Prince fans, this is what really happened, or no, this is like a sort of what if, I like to say quantum realm type of thing. So is this sort of like this is something that could have happened in your envisioning of that, right?
Got you. So yes, a combination of a few things, but the main thing is, of course, this event actually happened. Not a lot of people know what exactly was said or what they did throughout that particular evening. They kind of kept that a little bit close to the chest, which I definitely understand and respect. But, just taking everything that we've learned from that time period again and different things that came up in like interviews and stuff like that. So I just created like a script with actual factual things that they said and that were going on in their lives and stuff around them at that time to just kind of create a beautiful conversation between them. Some cool little side jokes and inside jokes that we as fans would appreciate. And like definitely the what if component comes at the later part of the film, which is my favorite part, and I can't wait for you all to see. And it's just a beautiful film, man. Just seeing these two amazing, talented people get to know each other without the ego.
And I will admit, me and Big Sexy have had the opportunity to read the script, and there was some interesting stuff in there, stuff that made me chuckle. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, I can see that, because you definitely, I feel like, and again, I didn't know either one of these brothers, but it felt like you sort of captured a little bit of what I think the essence of what a conversation might be like. Like, I could see Prince saying some of the things that you had him saying. I could certainly see Mike doing some of the stuff that you had in the script. Now, just to be clear, this would be a live action.
Yes, a live action film. We have two amazing upcoming new actors. It was a nationwide casting call, and it was not easy at all. But luckily, we had the amazing casting director, Winsome Sinclair. She came up under Spike Lee and all those amazing, things, and done so many films. So like, we have heavy hitters associated with this film. She unfortunately passed away last month. So rest in peace to her. But like, yeah, we went through this whole process and all of that. So we really believe firmly in our talent, that they can bring it and they have it. We just need the funding to make it happen. So that's where we are today.
And we continue on this, but correct me if I'm wrong. Are you the person? I remember seeing a New Edition like trailer thing that was online years ago. And I remember watching it. This was before the New Edition movie came out, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember seeing that. And at the time, I'm like, yo, like, that's kind of the essence of Ricky Bobby. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was some real shit. That was you that did this?
Yes, sir. That was me. That was me. I did that fresh out of film school. And I was at a place where, I'm just watching and paying attention. Like, I'm very into the culture, what the culture needs, what's missing, what, just figuring it out a couple of years in advance. So, God has blessed me with that gift. And I'm like, well, I think New Edition need a film. We've had, the Temptations movie. We had the Five Heartbeats, which was fictional, but it's so near and endearing to our hearts as a culture. So I was like, I think it's time for New Edition. And I would talk to people and they'd be like, why do we want to see that? Why we want to see a movie about Bobby Brown? Like, who? It was just craziness. I'm like, no, it's time. They're all here. They're all alive. Let's give them their flowers now. So I did it, and it went viral and all that stuff. And it definitely led to the BET project a few years later, for sure. That's been confirmed.
Wow. I'm just curious, just to stay on that for a minute. Did you ever hear if any of the members of the group saw that? You ever heard any feedback from them at all? Anybody?
Oh yeah, for sure. Specifically, and that is a long story. But long story short, I got a chance to speak with Johnny a couple of years after the fact, and he just gave me so much love. Him and Ralph. Behind the scenes, Bobby wanted me to, or his team rather, wanted me to do his story. And this is right before his book came out. So we signed contracts and all of that. And, we're starting that process. But then, of course, BET came knocking with that big check. And, it was one of my first industry, lessons. Like, I was just a kid fresh out of film school. Yeah, I had the talent, but, the bigger industry and the bigger check sometimes, wins out. So, it's okay. Right. The main thing was it got out. It created a buzz that they definitely needed to make it happen. And it gave me a trust in my vision and my, I guess your heart, so to speak, like, okay, my intuition is great with what I need to do and should do. Keep trusting it and moving forward. And that's pretty much where I'm going from and with royalty today.
And so, one of the questions we always say, oh, we're going to do like a Prince biopic one day. And there was, nobody can play Prince. Who are you going to get how do you overcome? Mike would be the same way as well, right? So you got both in this one. Like, how did you come over? Like, how do you sort of accomplish that? I guess you said you did a casting call and you.
Oh yeah, and then the casting call itself was interesting.
It's like, yo, these cats.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I
cut out on my end there for a second. What did you say?
I didn't say anything. You could do whatever. I couldn't. Yeah, you cut out. I couldn't hear.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'll say this part over. I don't know what happened. I was just saying, so you basically were able to, accomplish almost the impossible by getting these two actors to play Michael and Prince.
Mhm.
I mean, how did the process of casting them go? Like,
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was not easy at all because I know, yeah, I know from the industry filmmaker movie perspective, but I also know from the fan and fam's perspective. We do not play. I came up in all the message boards and all that stuff, so I already know I'm thinking with all those lenses in my head.
Okay.
So I kind of had to break it down to the casting team, like, hey, I could try to explain it in the Michael sense, and then I'll circle back to Prince. So I was like, well, number one, the rule was no impersonators.
Okay.
Jay is really big on that. I got that from Jay. Like, no,
Not the biggest fan.
no impersonators.
Yeah.
And so talking to my casting team, I was like, for Michael, let's not try to find Michael. Let's try to find the next Wiley Draper. Wiley Draper was the actor who played the adult Michael in the Jackson's American Dream miniseries.
Oh, yeah, isn't that brother that passed away or something?
Right, he passed away like right after from leukemia, right after miniseries came out. So like, let's put our focus on that. And with the casting process, nobody knew what this project was for, who they were playing. So it was like fake names, fake backstories, and all of that. So we were just more so honed in on the essence of the person. When it came to Prince, because with Prince, it's just so many layers to him. So I might ruffle some feathers with saying this. Like, I don't want to see Prince. I want to see Skipper. I want to see the person in between the moments. You know what I'm saying? We could build Prince on top of that. We actually came across this a young person, didn't really have the best experience, looked, talked, and sounded just like Prince. But the experience acting wasn't there. So it was a painful decision for us to make because it was just a little bit too much trying to put on the essence, if you will. It's like, no, we don't want that. We want somebody who can just really carry a scene and get us drawn into the characters and the men behind all of the stuff that we see in public. So for sure. So with the actors that we chose, they brought, like, we legit cried, before they even knew who they were reading for. It was like, did you see their tape? Did you? It was like, yeah, okay, we might have something. And so we circled around. Once we got it whittled down to the final ones, we let them know, like, hey, this is actually this. Now go back, and I made like a compilation of like 20 minutes of like their interviews and stuff. Like, take a week, look at this, soak it in, and come back for a callback. And once they were able to put those layers on, now that they knew, they were portraying, it felt very real and authentic. So I'm very proud of the process.
Wow, I'm very curious to see. I definitely want to see that. Man, that's crazy.
And this isn't Hollywood, all this, all this stuff with the politics and all of that. No, this is a film, I want to stress, by the fans, for the fans. So we're handling this with love, admiration, respect, and dignity to not only them, but what they represented for all of us. So that's what I feel makes this project special.
Yeah, I would say, Big Sexy jump in too. Like, after what I read, reading the script, I was kind of looking to see, like, would it lean one way or the other?
I know,
pro Prince, and it didn't. Like, there's some things that Prince said at first. I was like, oh, but I could see him saying that. I was like, he kind of be on some time like that. So, and the way Mike was, I was like, yeah, it was fair, and was like, when I read it, it walked away like, yo, I actually wanted to be longer.
Yeah, exactly.
It would be a fascinating, like, it would be dope if it was. I could see it being this whole thing. I mean, I could see it being exactly what you're trying to do. And I was like, I would actually love to see that. Like, I was like, because at first I'm like, but
I know,
you know what I'm saying? But because it just, but I think before we haven't had somebody, it seems like, what has the care and the respect and knows, who they're portraying. So it's done in a way where you just felt the love. It was a celebration of both of them. I felt, what I read.
And that was the intention. And our goal is, of course, to make this a longer feature film. By that point, of course, we would love to have the blessings by both estates, but we understand processes of the whole thing. So just for now, just to get the ball rolling, we're just figuring like, okay, we can start here with this moment, you know, go out festivals, win some awards. Like we want to go on the Oscar track, you know.
Ooh.
So we have a plan for, you know, the Oscar short film nomination and all of those things. So that's the level of execution we're looking for.
How do you deal with the music, or do you deal with the music?
There is no music. There's no music involved at all. This is just mainly in the parts where you think there will be music, you know, there is no music. So yeah, that was definitely something that I've had, you know, my legal team come over and just make sure that we were in the clear with like everything that, you know, we can control.
Jay, talk to me about your involvement in all of this.
Well, no, it's interesting that we're on the show now because your show inspired this partly. You had Kat Glover on the show, on your show, and she mentioned the actual hanging out with Michael at Paisley Park.
Okay, I remember this.
That partly, me and Bobby started talking about that that episode. We were like, that would be a really good project. Or what if we know, because we knew they hung out before. We knew they hung out at the skate parks in LA with Latoya and Kathy Hilton. We knew about and all the different meetings. And we know how the media has always pitted them against each other because, frankly, the two biggest Black artists of the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
But we wanted to get back, past all of that and really try to figure out the common ground between the two of them. And there's a lot more than people, realize.
Mm-hmm.
So when me and Bobby came up to, we started putting this together, I was just really here to support and help him out with all of that, consulting, going through different books, going through The Beautiful Ones, Moonwalk, different interviews, and just trying to piece a conversation together that would make sense and would be believable. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And we go back years. I don't know if you told them, like we were kids in the Michael Jackson boards, Prince.org, Housequake. Like, so we've been building.
Yeah, we were kids on the org. We were children on the org. On Housequake, on the different Michael forums. We've been friends.
When you was kids, like how old was you?
God,
high school.
I was 16.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
We've been putting this in time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I came on board the fandom. I mean, of course, obviously, Prince is going to be played in the house, and the hits and the B-side.
Sure.
I knew that, but like I became a fan right after the musicology era. So 3121 was the first era that I've got to watch in real time, and
that's crazy to me.
Oh yeah.
Wow. What about and then Michael Jackson? Like what's your Michael credentials, receipts?
Oh God. We've been fans. I've been a fan for most of my life. I've helped out on books about Michael. I've ran forums about Mike. Massive collection here. Just a long time fan. Got a digital archive of everything, of memorabilia and ephemera, all that kind of stuff, just to hopefully to do a book at some point about Michael. But yeah, I'm long time fan. Got all the albums. Yeah, I was a fan of Michael's first, and then I became a fan of Prince during the Rainbow Children project. And
really,
I was listening to KBLX.
One to come into, like I know, I've never heard.
Yeah, I knew Prince. I loved Prince's music, but it was listening to KBLX in Berkeley, and it was a song called it was "She Left Me for Me." Mm-hmm. That was a song that got me to be like, I gotta go really buy his albums because I have a pretty religious family, so listen to Prince sometimes can make some people be like, so
Mm-hmm.
I got into Prince around that time, and around that time it was 2002, and then some point around musicology, and by then I was already a fan, so been a fan ever since.
Yeah, Jay's a dope archivist and just a music lover. Like he's one of those encyclopedias of just music. So I just always keep him close because he knows everything. I'm like, okay.
Love it. Big Sexy, do you have? I know you had some questions.
Well, first of all, I like the little reference to KBLX, The Quiet Storm.
Oh yes.
The script is fantastic. I do have, and I'm not going to spoil them on air. There's one portion on page 15 we'll talk to you guys about. Bobby, you mentioned, excuse me, they were both snubbed at the 87 Grammys. I did a review on every album that was up for Album of the Year, and I will still stand by my choice of Sign of the Times. Should have won. That's just my opinion.
Right.
But I like how you stripped away all of the surface chaos and let them just become a couple of guys who have more in common than we all thought.
Right.
You know, and they could connect at that level. You know, it wasn't about Bubbles a chimp. It wasn't about, you know, Prince writing slave on his face. You stripped all that away. It's like, look, man, let's just chop it up and do what we do. And I'm not going to go into detail, but just connect on that level.
Yes.
Yeah. That means a lot. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah, that definitely means a lot, and especially coming from you, Big Sexy. So it's like, I know you don't play around, but like, yeah, that was so important to me. And another seed that planted this was One Night in Miami, you know, which
yes.
Sam Cooke, Jim Brown. I'm missing one. I'm terrible.
Malcolm
Ali. No, Lord forgive me, Muhammad Ali. So right. So it just seeing all these strong, amazing, prominent Black men in their field at that time, and everything that's going on, you know, Jim Crow, civil rights, all these things, and just see them humanized in such a beautiful way. Was like, we need to see that, you know, for our heroes, you know, including Michael Jackson and Prince, where we just have all these things that time has put on top of them, that the industry has put on top of them, that the media has put on top of them, that the fans ourselves have put on top of them, and just strip all of that away. And that's definitely the heart and soul of this project for sure. So thank you for catching that.
Wow. What's so I know with Kickstarter you have a number that a goal that you're trying to get to. What's that number? What's the bag we need?
Okay, so I know it's a little steep just looking at it, but of course, as you know, as fans, we need things done right. We can't have I won't say no Tyler Perry wigs. I can't do that. I'm in Atlanta. I can't talk like that. Forgive me.
No Beijing.
Right. So you know, it's like we have Marvel crew, hair, makeup, prosthetics. Working on this film, because you know a lot of Marvel movies are filmed down here in Georgia. We have, you know, we got to get the, you know, 67 White Thunderbird, you know, so like all things, you know, cost making a film, a period piece. And then, you know, Kickstarter takes their fees and their taxes, so that makes the number a little bit high. So we're asking for our 115,000 right now. And if you go on the Kickstarter, you'll see everything broken down in the FAQ, frequently asked questions. We break down why we need the money and where all of the money is going, so that you get a firm understanding of everything. So yeah, we're not cutting any corners with this. Even though it's a short film and all that, we can't cut corners with Mike and Prince. They deserve everything and more.
I agree with you. That's important. So you have the goal number, and today is the 14th. How many more days? We on our campaign. I know all y'all. Kamala, Trump. We on our campaign. So what's the number? I mean, what's the date?
We have to meet the goal by September 25th, and I'm not sure if your audience understands, but like with Kickstarter, we have to get every single dime, or we don't get anything at all.
Okay.
So it's not a situation where you gave money and then, you know, it's not all of it. We didn't do the movie or nothing. And you're like, what happened to the money? Like, your money doesn't leave your account. Nothing happens unless we meet and exceed, you know, that amount.
Okay. Yes. Man, we can make this happen. I love that you guys are, I don't say shooting for the moon, but you're going for the excellence that both of these two titans of the game deserve.
Thank you.
When we're dealing with the excellence, these two Black men, it needs to be the top tier, particularly coming from the fans. We don't have to shortchange nothing. You don't have to play no politics, I hope, or not. It's just, let's do this project to the utmost ability and show these brothers the respect that they deserve. You know what I'm saying? So I'm all forward. I'm all with this, man. I hope that you out there listening can contribute. I'm sure anything helps, right? Like,
Right. Anything helps. Some people been giving $5, $10. We don't discriminate, and that's why I really wanted to bring it to the fans and make it about the fans, because we didn't want politics involved in this. We didn't want the industry involved with this, because, who you ask is a whole different situation, and it can lead to this and it can lead to that. We don't want no smoke with anybody. So that's why we're focusing on the fans and making this a grassroots effort.
I was EP.
And are there what do they call it? I don't know if it's perks or like if I'm sorry, my connection is tripping. Hold on.
You all right?
Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah. Big Sexy was talking, I think.
Okay. I'll edit this, but I don't know what happened. What I was gonna say is in terms of the perks, like if I was to contribute, are there certain dollar amounts, or hey, you get a copy of the movie or your name in the credits or something like that? Or
Oh yes, for sure. We have a lot of different amazing perks. Everything from thank you credits in the movie, getting first access to behind the scenes footage, first access to the trailer. Because when we do a movie like this and it's for the festivals, it has to go through the festival circuit, meaning that a lot of people probably won't see it for a year. So if you give a certain amount, you could actually be able to see it first before we go through that process. And even things down to like a T-shirt, I think I said, and some people could even, if they got the dollars and they're able to make it out, they can get a cameo in the film. We have plenty of amazing, fun places to come and get a cameo. Even getting the wardrobe. So we have the actual like real deal stylist who's creating the look. So like you can actually get the Prince whole thing, even down to the boots. And we got to represent with the polka dots for the Love Sexy era. So we're offering some pretty amazing things here.
Man, how much can I contribute where I can come on as a cameo as Billy?
I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's all right there on Kickstarter. But hey, for you, I'll say $5. Like, come on. You help plan
that fool in here.
So $5 in a dream. Let's go. As long as you can make it down to Atlanta,
Oh, good job.
As long as you can rock the sweatsuit, that's the key. Can you rock the sweatsuit?
Right. Well, you pad me up, you know what I'm saying? And you can get the perm wig, Billy in '88 was probably a different Billy though from Purple Rain.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm actually really excited about this, man. I want to see this done, man. I would love to watch this. Like, who would not want to see this? Like,
right.
It's two people that I love. It's not pitting them against each other. And just describing the quality level of what you're trying to do. Right. That would be badass. I could see this, like, I'm just throwing it out there. Like, I could see it'd be the celebration or something and they show it. Or I see it be at some fan event. And and you see the Thunderbird come on, like, with the polka dot, and then you see Mike pull up. What's old man would that be with the cigar? His manager,
Frank DeLeo.
Oh shit! I'll be like, oh shit.
Yeah, this project is so fun. It's just fun. Like, there's heartful moments and all those things, but just for us, there's so many Easter eggs. There's so many references. There's so many inside jokes. It's just wall to wall a good time. You're gonna walk away really feeling really good about the people that we choose to love and get behind.
Absolutely.
So I believe we have the URL at the bottom here, royaltyatthepark.com. That's where they can go. The website directs them to the Kickstarter campaign. When's the last day to contribute again? The 20.
We're gonna say the 24th. I think it's the 25th, but just to be safe, because I don't know if they cut it off at like midnight on the 25th. So let's just say September 24th. We need to meet and exceed our goal. Please, y'all. Let's make this happen.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell from my people in the culture, the 20th.
All right.
I know how y'all. So just say it's got to be there on the 20th. Go on and put it when you get your next paycheck. You a couple $.
That's EBT.
Yeah, let's.
Did you say EBT?
I was saying, some of y'all that sling those and get the money back. Not that that's illegal, but that's legal or anything. But whatever we got to do.
Yeah.
To get this. And listen, man, we've had our people have done stuff like this, and I was watching something the other day. I think of Robert Townsend with Hollywood Shuffle. They use credit cards, all kind of stuff to get that movie made. Spike Lee with his first movie Then of course with Malcolm X, you know, some of the celebrities kicked in. Prince kicked in
Yeah.
on that movie. So we can do stuff like this. And in particular now with the technology that's at our disposal, we don't need to go run to whoever. We can go direct to the people. We got the tools. We can do this, man. This
For
is
sure.
this is perfect for us. This is like what we don't have to run to nobody. We can do this. We want to celebrate Mike and Prince. We don't have to worry about this state or Netflix, or we can do it right here. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
For sure.
I'm
Too much
excited.
politics, and just a little bit more fire under everyone's behind. I have my suspicions that there's a bit of like a shadow banning with social media. So I'm blasting, but my engagement isn't matching it. And I think they don't like third party sites like Kickstarter and all those things, and you know, just crowdfunding right now. So we got to spread the word and just get out there, you know, as best as we can, because me just posting it, you know, isn't really reaching the people in the ways that I thought it would.
Well, I hope this helps for sure. We'll get it out there. And again, Royalty at the Park. Please go check it out. Go to the website, contribute. We can make this movie happen. I would love to see it. I'm gonna see if I can dig in. You know, my kid's trying to eat, but I'm gonna see if I can dig in. I'm saying and put something. I'm gonna try and put something. You know, but we're putting this to Big Sexy. Any other questions on this particular?
Yeah, a couple. Guys, I was EP on a short film several years ago. I know the trials and tribulations that you guys are facing. During the festival circuit, when that happens, are you going to be seeking distribution at that level too, when you're in the festival portion?
Got you. All of that will be part of conversations and buzz. I feel like because of just simply the nature of the project, who the project is about, a lot of people, even though it is a short film, will be coming to us with, you know, offers and interest in all of those things. So that's not really too much of a concern for me at this particular point. But like, yeah, like distribution is actually relatively easy at this point, because with independent filmmaking, we're no longer waiting for the opportunities and all that. I would argue probably making the film is the hardest part, and getting the eyes and ears on there as well. And, you know, of course, you know, there's a lot of different things that go into play with that. But I feel like the distribution will definitely be coming easily from the buzz at the top. And we're talking about top tier film festivals, your Sundances, Tribeca's, Cannes, all of those places.
Yeah.
Man, let me switch our perspective here. Jay, Bobby,
Yes.
when y'all get your Oscars, when this thing then moved over to a feature or it's on like some streaming thing, but when y'all get up there to get whatever them awards that you get, man, you better shout out some podcast juice.
We have to. We have to. We have
On
to.
the stage. No, but no, I would love to see y'all, man. That would be so dope. You're like, man, I remember them cats, man. They don't take my calls no more, but I remember you know what I'm saying? They're doing their thing right now. And I take my family to the theater. Say, I know them. No, you didn't know them. Man, I was one of the homies he grew up in Kent. I'll be but nah, man. Excellent to see. Now I want to. We still on Royalty at the Park, but now that I got y'all here, I got to ask y'all some other questions and some
Okay.
Yeah, let's get into it. So I love Jay. You said Rainbow Children. That was the one that sort of ushered you into some Prince on a heavy level.
Yeah, it's not my favorite album, but it's the highlight for that on that album for me. That one and The Work. Those two songs. But after that, I was 15, 16 years old. So I got all the albums. I got all the Warner Brothers albums. And from that, Parade, my favorite. Parade and Sign of the Time. And
have you seen Prince in concert before?
I missed seeing Prince in concert several times. Didn't get to go. But family members, friends, all have seen Prince. My mom is friends with Morris Day's sister. Yeah, been friends with her for several years. I saw Morris in concert last year. He brought in here in Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah, saw Morris with Maite and Big Daddy Kane was there.
I remember this. I remember hearing about this actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a really good
I
show.
love Kane. That's why I was like, what?
Yes. Yes.
That's what's
Like,
up.
I didn't
Okay,
know I was there, but I was like, oh, Kane is here. Okay.
so Parade, that's your let me ask you this, and I'm gonna ask you the same question, Bobby. And I'm putting you on the spot right now, Jay. Your top 5 Prince albums.
Right. In order?
Let's choose from.
Just whatever top of mind, whatever order you want them to be.
Okay.
I'm glad you went first.
I can do this.
Someone told me to prepare. Let me take some notes.
For 5, Sign of the Times, Love Sexy, Gold Experience. Let me think.
Overthinking.
3121.
Wow.
So those 3.
That was 4.
4? That's 4?
You got one more.
Let me think. Absolute. I've been getting into Come lately, so I'll put that one on there. I've been really.
So you say Come. 31.
I heard that, Michael.
Love.
Oh, know what? Let me change that.
Right. Oh, no.
Because I remember Love Sexy is an album I love too. I might, you know what? Yeah, let's do that one over again. Let's do that. Ray.
There we go.
Ray, Some of the Times, 3121, Love Sexy, and the 5th album I can think of it again.
Just playing games, man. Just playing games.
Good experience.
Okay. Solid. That's a solid list. You pull in from a lot of different. I love it. All right, Bobby.
Yeah.
Top 5, sir.
Come on, Bobby. Bring the fire.
It better be good. You want us to give us money?
But no, it's pretty much gonna be the same because me and Jay, it's like it's the same. The trifecta for me is always going to be Parade, Sign of Times, Love Sexy. So that's just that. 3121, that's what got me through the door.
Wow. Okay.
So tough. I'll go with 1999.
Love it.
Wow.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Love it. Big Sexy. I don't think I'm gonna throw this to you too. What's your top 5? For just whatever reasons.
The man threw in 1999 as a throwaway, damn near. Wow.
Well, because it was like a between, so I had to go. Whatever.
All right. That's fine. I will say Sign of the Times, number 1. Far and away. I will say 1999, number 2. Because I really broke brand new ground with him. As far as, exposition. I will say Dirty Mind 3. I will say Gold Experience 4.
Yeah.
And I'll wrap it up with you know what? I'm going to wrap it up. It's hard now. God damn it.
See? Whatever the last one you say is the one that you threw away. I'm going to get on
Yeah, I know. I'm going to get heat for it too. I will say, before I answer this, are we talking solely Prince branded albums?
Whatever you want it to be. Whatever
Exodus.
you want it to be.
NPG Exodus, number 5.
Oh, wow. Okay. Can I just add that there's like an interesting, and it got me recently too, but I'm noticing like on Twitter, and I'm not really on TikTok, but I feel like the Gen Z, I'm millennial, not Gen Z, but the Gen Z, they're kind of, without knowing it, leaning towards the Love Symbol album, and I kind of understand why. Like when I revisited it, it's like so many elements. It's like, whoa. Like, and it fits now, and it's timely now, and it's classic now, and it's like if they can like really just tap into that now, like they'll get a whole new audience. There's something about that album. It's just like the chef kiss for real. He was in his bag with that one.
You think is it something like sonically or just
Yeah, it just feels real. Like they're trying. It's like bubbling under. They're trying to like share and post. Like, hey, did you hear? Did you know this song? It just feels like right now.
Gotcha.
It's a dope album, I think.
Yes.
Now I want to turn that around to Michael, and I open up that to say for me, I always have to say
you're fine.
Michael. Well, I already did my top 10 thing, and I don't remember what order I put those albums in, so I want to contradict myself. Quickly, it would be Sign of the Times. Now, see, I went like the time. What time is it? 1999. Purple Rain. And I don't know. I know I had Madhouse in there. I can't remember what order I had, but
I didn't know we were doing associated artists now.
Well, I just said it was whatever you wanted to do. That's why
That's cool.
It's whatever you want it to be. To me, those are Prince albums. He made them. He wrote them. But Michael Jackson. And for me, I'm going to give mine too. But I want to say for Michael, mine's is a mixture of the Jacksons and Michael.
Same
That's
here.
to him.
Same here.
Because otherwise, to me, I feel like, well, it's just so easy, But I would just say quickly, a Thriller, Off the Wall, Destiny, Bad and Dangerous, and probably my number 1 and 2 would be Off the Wall and Destiny, because those are what as a kid I was into. Destiny was that album. Like I remember, I knew that word for word. My mom used to play that. I played it, wore it out. And then Off the Wall came out, wore that out.
Yeah.
8-track, and then Thriller. And even, like I was also into The Victory. Was it Victory?
Yeah, Victory's a solid album.
Data Shock. What's my man? Was that Randy? One More Night?
Yes. Randy did his big one with that one. Yeah. He's very underrated.
Janet covered that song too, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, Bobby, what's your mic?
I feel like everybody's gonna have the exact same list. Like, had you done songs, that would have raised some hell. But everybody
do songs. Do songs.
No, we're not doing that.
You don't
that
want
would
that
be a problem. But like, I would definitely say my list pretty much is the same as yours. Only thing that I would add is Dangerous, because that's when I feel that he got to explore his total self creatively without, the thumb of Quincy, like, that whole thing. But like Dangerous, like a full expression. And I think after that, it was a lot of like commentary and of course anger, which is understandable, that kind of went into his music and made it into a whole other thing. But like with Dangerous, it was just like, I'm fully here. I'm, about 30 years old. I'm experiencing life. I'm on my own. I'm doing this. This is where I am. This is who I am right now. Bam. And I'm the boss. You know what I'm saying? So I would definitely fit Dangerous in there.
Okay. What you got, Jay?
Okay. So no particular order. I love History. Yeah. I love Angry Michael. And finally getting older and digging deeper into his life, I feel that album is, as I got older now, like Justified. He's a really lashing out finally the way he never had.
And I feel real quick with the biopic that's coming out, and next year being the 30th anniversary, I think it's going to make people go back to it and really pay attention and listen, because there was so much stuff surrounding the album they didn't really listen to it.
I agree.
I didn't listen to that album back because I was just like, but I hear people I think it's Q Storm, the other guy on the show. He's like, History is the joint. So
it's a great album. It has Biggie on it. It has a really weird Shaquille O'Neal cameo, but that it's a great album. It's a great album. I love Bad. It's the album that I think introduced me to Michael. Okay. I would love to hear the demos that Michael did before Quincy got involved, when he was doing with John Barnes and Bill Portrayal, and they were doing all those songs without Q. I've heard the demos to Smooth Criminal. I heard the demo to Liberian Girl and Speed Demon, and a little bit more funkier than the album versions.
Interesting. Okay.
I love Destiny. Destiny that's an album that I wish was in surround sound or in Dolby Atmos.
Are you up on the Atmos? Oh, okay, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
that
man.
album is so much there.
Yeah.
And Triumph as well. Triumph as well.
Okay.
I think those albums are insane. Insane.
Bro, how many albums did you do? Hold on.
I did History, Bad, Destiny, and Triumph.
Got one more.
And
I mean,
I would love to do a Justin 5 album because I love Death Machine, Moving Violation, but I gotta do it with Off the Wall. No.
wow.
Off the Wall.
Wow, that's
You don't
crazy
need
that
to-
you would even consider that Off the Wall would not possibly be on the list.
Oh no, it has to be on the list. I had to always put Off the Wall and Thriller in this like my favorite albums aside from those two. In a way, always in my head because those two are always been part of my life. Purple Rain too. Purple Rain, Thriller, Off the Wall, Control by Janet. Those albums are just
They're already
part of
built
my
in.
life.
They're built
Part of
in.
my life.
I love that.
So,
I love that.
Yeah, I would have to put Off the Wall. That album is you hearing Happy Michael, you hearing Michael with Away from Joe, you know,
Yeah.
Joe not in the studio, and you know, without the brothers and without Barry Gordy, without Gambling Huff, it's Q, Michael, Rod, the gang. You know, you can hear you can hear that the joy in his voice. You can hear the happiness, and that kind of went away at some point. That anger, that hurt, started to take more of a center at some point, and that grit came in. But you still hear Motown Michael on Off the Wall. You still hear the Michael who was inspired by Dennis Edwards and Stevie and Smokey. You hear that. So I enjoy that album, and I just seeing that cover and him happy. You know, after that, he was like making a point to be not smile on his album covers, you know, to show you like, you know, but yeah, with those, that's my favorites.
I'm sorry, sidebar. It was just like I just noticed because it just brought to my attention. He didn't smile at all during the Thriller era. And like, he wasn't playing with y'all. He was like, nah, y'all talking about I'm not good enough for the Rolling Stone. Like, I'm not playing with y'all. I'm gonna wear my glasses. Y'all ain't getting one smirk from me for free.
Yeah.
Oh, how militant.
That's you know what? I didn't think about that, but you're absolutely right. It's almost as if the tone shifted where you had to be like this kind of fierce, you know, it was like a thing. Even like I think of Motown 25 when he goes to the old songs and he just shifts into the Michael that we saw moving forward. You know, you know, that type
Triumph. You see Triumph tour of Michael, Destiny tour of Michael. He's happy, he's smiling on the stage.
Yeah.
He's still that Motown Michael, he's still maturing. Thriller, Victory Tour, Motown 25, even that performance he did at the Superfest with Quincy, when he did stuff like that. It was Michael, Luther, Ashford Simpson, Patty Austin, and they did stuff like that. You hear that Michael, you hear pissed off Michael of like, I'm a killer, Michael.
Interesting.
Now you hear that later on with that.
I told you he's a historian right here.
I love it. I love it, man. You want to jump on this one, Big Sexy?
Me?
Top 5 Michaels.
Shit. All right. Considering I'm a little older than you gentlemen, I'm going to go Off the Wall because that was the first one I knew every lyric back to front on.
Yes.
I'm going to going back to Indiana.
Yes.
Because when I was a kid, that was the double album. It was just everybody had to have it.
Yeah.
From there, I'm going to go Bad because, you know, like Jay said, you know, it was the beginning of angry / more adult Michael.
Yeah.
You know, all that youngin' stuff was over. I mean, he's growing up finally, which is great.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing? Oh, here you go.
The day that basketball was saved is hilarious.
Yes.
I don't want to interrupt you, but real quickly, I have that record as a kid and I had memorized it, right? And I just knew it. I knew every freaking line. I would act it out as a kid. Just had the record. I don't even remember if I even saw the TV special.
Oh, I
know
did.
it was a TV special.
I just saw it a few years ago.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't remember that was Bill Cosby. It wasn't until like 3 weeks ago I was looking on Apple Music. I was like, oh, I had that as a kid. And I started listening to it, and everything flew back into my mind, and I started saying it. Word, there's the part where like guy, like guy. I don't know if you know it,
like guy.
Yeah, like guy. And I was like, that's where that's from. It was in my mind my whole life, and I totally forgot. So that's one of those albums that I was like, that's why I love Michael. As a kid, that's what I was into. I just totally forgot about it. And so you just saying that made me remember all of that. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, from there I go to Triumph, because that was a point, like you guys had said, post Motown, post Gamble and Huff, they were really out there on their own now.
Yeah.
And it's like, we asked to be free, we're free now. Let's see what we can do. So they did Triumph, which was fantastic. And I would probably wrap it up with 2300 Jackson Street. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Not a bad album, though. Not a bad album.
Jackson Street. I would say wrapping it up with Destiny.
Okay.
Destiny and Triumph are like the same album. They could have been a double album for me. The way it was, sonically, and the way it was produced. I love those two.
Yeah.
That's how to me, Destiny and Off the Wall, that to me are so, to me, like when they talk about, well, Mike couldn't do it without Quincy, I'm like, he already did it. Like Destiny and what are you talking?
Hello.
I have to disagree with you on that one.
That's what it sounds. That's what I get for being polite. Them songs.
They're great albums, but sonically, it's not the same. It's just not the same. Wait. I'm not saying Destiny's bad by any stretch. I'm not saying that at all. But when you get the Quincy machine behind it, it's going to sound different.
Yeah, push me away. Like Mike was.
He was cranking them out. Yeah.
Something that's interesting, because there's a demo from Michael and the brothers on Triumph. That's an instrumental track. It's Michael just humming, but it's a really good demo. But somehow that song ended up on a Switch album.
Interesting.
That Jermaine produced, and it made me wonder if the brothers sometimes helped each other out and nobody even knew, because it's a great track. And it's the song ended up becoming like the Switch on the Switch 5 album with a higher energy. And I'm like, And I listened to that demo, like, it's the same song.
Wow.
And I was like, maybe Michael had, because I know he did that a few times, low undercover, and would put stuff out. And I know Jermaine and the brother, I know Randy helped out on Off the Wall a lot more than people know he did. That he went back and like overdid overdubs for certain tracks. So maybe you think of that, because those brothers, all 6 brothers are talented. All 6 are talented.
For sure.
So I want to just put that out there, chick. So yeah,
that's the one thing that bugs me. One thing that bugs me about the Jacksons now is that I grew up and they were superheroes to me. like they was the shit. Like, so I just don't feel like they don't get the respect that they should. They were just as big. I mean, maybe it was just me. They were just as big as any group that was out. If not, they were not, like, to me, it seemed like they were one of the top groups. And people don't. I mean, I get the jokes on Tito and all. I guess I don't know if that comes from Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
But that's Tito Jackson. Stop playing. Like, that's Jackie, Marlon. You know what I'm saying? Girl, you want your body, Marlon. How many Marlins? I mean, I have a whole thing on Marlins. That dude, Jermaine. Yeah, hits. Jermaine was the man when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, let's get serious and all of like, he was the dude. He was like early Keith Sweaters. I mean, he played bass. And, I mean, Marlon.
Jermaine,
I will give you guys this. I will give you this, and I'll never repeat this. I was a tremendous Jackson 5 fan as a kid. I watched their cartoon religiously and could do every step from the cartoon backwards and forwards. I even wrote a short story in, like, 4th grade, because I think I remember they had this beat up jalopy, and every time it would apply the brakes, the car would just grab the
Yes.
brakes. And Tito said, "Don't you think those brakes grab a little?" And I would just say that all over the place, and I was so into that. And again, that was a cultural thing, a cultural phenomenon, because they had their own cartoon. They're cranking the albums out. Oh yeah, that was a good time.
I'll just say, like, I'm just what I love the most about y'all on this podcast is y'all give us, y'all was there, and you just give us, especially from our perspective, the Black male perspective, you created a voice and carved the line. Like, no, we were there, we're here. This is our experience, and we're sharing it with the world. Because with me, Jay coming up, we were catching hell left and right. We missed out so much. It was like you can't say you're a fan of Michael or Prince. So getting that, like I'm just envisioning being a kid and watching the cartoon and seeing it for the first time and getting these albums and the day basketball was saved and all this stuff. Like, that's American history right there.
Yeah,
we didn't get none of that. There's no books, no nothing. Like, we had to fight and claw for every little piece that we could get when we were kids. It was like who did it? It was terrible.
That's why I think your project that you're doing is so dope, because to me it would be like if I was to try and do a project about like Sly or somebody that I wasn't around when that was popping, but I fell in love with it much later. And I think it's dope where younger brothers like yourself recognize, and you got into it later. Well, you still got into it in real time. Rainbow Children was real time. 3121 was real time. He just had a whole career before that, or part of the career. But now in 2024, y'all are like, yo, let's do this about these legends. Like, these are Black heroes. These are musical heroes. These are society world heroes that need to be spotlighted. So I think it's great, man. I wanted to ask you guys this. There was a Michael movie. Can't think of the name. We've talked about it on the show before. It's the one that was from the bodyguard's perspective. I don't know if you know
that one.
Yes.
I had read the book before that movie came out, and I actually listened to the audiobook. Fantastic. Like, I was like, what? This is great. And then I actually did enjoy this movie. I'm not gonna lie. I even bought it digitally. And matter of fact, me and my oldest daughter, I think it might have been last year, I had her sit down and watch it with me, because I'm just curious. And we both was crying, and I had seen it before. So we were just both into it. So I'm curious if you guys have seen that movie and what your thoughts on that.
I watched it when it came out, and I've read the book, and I've read there was another bodyguard who was part of the book, but he did his own other book as well.
Oh, really?
And it was heartbreaking in parts, because you can tell he was going through a lot those last few years, a lot. And I think for fans seeing that and seeing more about This Is It as well, seeing kind of comes together and knowing more about what happened during that whole situation, which is not a pretty happy picture. It says a lot more. It gives more facets to Michael. I think so many people get caught up in the flashiness and the controversy, or over Michael's in general, the magic of Michael. That was a human being, a real live human being who went through a lot. And I'm glad that they didn't do it in a way where it was a joke. Like the Flex movie. The Flex movie was terrible.
We don't have to bring that up. We don't have to bring that up in here.
I'm just gonna say it because I remember like Michael was on trial during that movie when the movie came out, and even on trial and going through that was like, this is trash. So and Michael never really came out and said anything negative about people, but he was like, this is trash. So for that movie, seeing that horrible piece and then seeing that was a refreshing look, as well as seeing the American Dream movie. Those two movies are great. The biopic that's coming out now, I'm excited for it. because I know that the brothers and the family is involved. I know that they're not leaving a stone unturned. I know they're going everything from his health issues, the allegations, everything. So I really hoping that they do it. I'm excited about that. Because his story needs to be told correctly. Prince story need to be told correctly. Black legend stories need to be told correctly.
Yeah, I just want to say justice for Flex Alexander, because we got suckered into it, and like people don't know. Like I know in this industry, I know things could just go happen, and then you sign a contract and you got to do what you got to do. He was like, "What, you want me?" Like, so he was just suckered into a situation that's not his fault, and his career took a major hit because of that, and that's really unfair. So he's one of us. So
no, for sure. I remember Flex from the hip hop stuff. When he used to be with Salt and Pepper and Kid and Play.
Yeah,
that's how I know him. And the movie I was talking, or the book I should say, I first met was Remember the Time,
right?
Protecting Michael Jackson in his final days. And if nothing else, I would recommend that book.
Absolutely,
because like you said, the dad Michael Jackson, who I just, in my mind, I just saw him as Michael, the superstar and the guy that I love, but to see him as a father dealing with the stuff that I felt like all of us dealt with. I mean, he's just in a higher tax bracket, obviously. Like he's trying to get a super mansion as a house, but he basically is essentially like, I want to get a house for my family, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to, and I was just like, God, I can't imagine. And just all the people around him and the jockeying for position and what those bodyguards went through in terms of the hours they worked and not get paid. I'm just it blew my mind.
Yeah,
man.
absolutely.
It's wild. Okay. Man, am I forgetting anything else? Is there anything you guys wanted to get into?
No, we all good.
I just wanted to give a shout out to our partners in crime. Of course, we said Casey Rain and Andy Healy. They've just been so amazing with, giving us access to a lot of information and interviews and behind the scenes things that they have on both the Michael and Prince side for Royalty at the Park. So I just want to give major kudos to them for just being down for the journey, because we've been in the trenches with this film for over 2 years at this point.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Yeah. They did their big one with this one, so I appreciate it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, royaltyatthepark.com. They on the Kickstart campaign. We on the campaign trail. Yeah, we got that one election. That's super important. But this one right here, this is the one. We need to get this popping. I want to see this. And I know a lot of you out there want to see it. And I think these brothers are going to do their thing, man. Obviously, they've been in this game, in the movie industry, creating content and motion pictures. It's just such I love it. I'm a movie guy, so I'm just hyped to just even be associated in terms of like, I can't wait to see it. So, man, we got to make this happen. Hopefully we can. Go check out the link down there. You can see the perks and different things that you can do being a, what do they call it when you contribute to it, or contributor? Or
backer or something? I think it's called backer.
Backer. Shit, you're going to be an executive producer, you know what I'm saying, by contributing to this. And, man, we need to see this. We need to see that. We need to see more projects like this. So
for sure.
Yeah, man. Any last words from you, brothers?
Thank you all just so much, especially thank you, the team, for allowing us to come on. And I've been trying to come on here for like a couple of years at this point. And just to get the stamp from y'all means so much, because I know y'all don't play, and I love that about y'all. So we're here, and we just want to create something that all of us can enjoy as a family. So thank you for that.
Yes,
right on, man.
Definitely.
All right. Thank you, Jay, Bobby, Big Sexy. Ladies and gentlemen, you already know, once again, royaltyatthepark.com. Go check it out. Get on board. The 20th is the cutoff, but maybe we'll let you get to the 25th. But just put in your mind it's the 20th. We got to put something on his books for the 20th and work it like a job. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Thank you.